Do we have anything from staff?
Yes, Philip Morley, County Administrator. I'd like to just walk through briefly before you take public testimony in the hearing the items in front of you. It's a matter of explanation so citizens can engage on the issues. This is a number of appropriations and extensions for a variety of county funds for third quarter of this year's 2008 budget. These are items that were not anticipated when the 2008 budget was adopted last year, and as I mentioned, represent some changes for the third quarter. So what I'd like to do is essentially just walk through them briefly and explain what they are. The first one is, first I'm going to talk through a number of them that are in the general fund. The first one is for the county administrator, temporary county administrator, interim county administrator contract with Prothman for Denny Richards services. That's for $112,500, and also $6,000 for public relations services for a contract that John Fishbach entered into earlier this year that were not included in the budget. The second set are, we received a grant of $20,000 for in juvenile services, which are being expended for the same purpose for case coordinator and judicial training and case coordinator training. So that's neutral, $20,000 in, $20,000 out. The next item is for $46,618, and this was for an expenditure, an emergency repair to the video conferencing to allow for arraignments by video between the jail and the courts. Our existing system had come to the end of its life. The Board of Commissioners had adopted earlier this year a resolution 4608 authorizing emergency repair to that system. And so this is the cost of that, of $46,618. Then there are a number of a variety of other transfers in and out of the general fund to other programs, which have a net savings to the general fund of $5,333. And then finally, there is in non-departmental, we received, make sure I get to the right place here. We received a grant which reimburses us for spending on the Beckett Point large on-site sewer system of $36,018, and had also expenses that were not budgeted or were beyond those that were budgeted for both public or indigence defense of an additional expenditure of $50,000 and of court-appointed attorneys of $8,000. And I'll point out to the Board of Commissioners and to the public that those public defense and court-appointed attorneys are costs that we don't have control over. The courts, under state law, the courts determine what the needs are there, and we simply need to pick up the tab when the bill comes in. So that, in summary, is the expenditures to the general fund. Together, they net out at an additional appropriation out of the general fund of $181,767. And then we also have some changes to some of the other individual funds. The county has 51 or 52 individual funds. Is that correct, Donna?
Yes. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, so these are a few adjustments and a number of those. And the first one is in the water quality fund. We received some grants for totaling $162,000, and essentially we've got money coming in and money going out on those grants. And then in addition, there's expenditures that are funded out of the general fund of $7,082 and $10,300 for the for the county lakes and water quality programs. You with me so far? Mm-hmm. Putting you to sleep?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. The next item is for the law library, and that's an additional expenditure of $3,500 for getting an annotated set of the state RCWs to have a hard copy in the law library. And that comes out of the fund balance for that fund. The next item also comes out of fund balance. In this case, it's the County Parks Improvement Fund, and this is $15,600. And this is to work on a mediation for or facilitation of the public meetings that you mentioned coming up this next month on the Parks Plan. The next item is was a fund transfer out of the general fund that I've already outlined under the general fund discussion of $6,309 working on the Dozy Wallops large on-site sewer system. The next item is actually a cost savings of $29,024 out of the facilities management fund. That it was savings for benches for the Superior Court. They actually came in under budget for once. And so this essentially becomes a rebate back to the general fund. And then the final item is for the ER&R, which manages our fleet. That fund is for $120,000 out of fund balance from that fund because of higher fuel and sand costs. And with that, I'd answer any questions.
Fuel and what, Don?
Sand and fuel.
Sand.
Primarily fuel.
I believe so.